Our broadcast will begin in 30 seconds. Welcome to the War Eagle Radio Network for Talons Out Live, presented by Rogers Hydrant Service. Coming to you live from Christie's Camo Cafe and Grill in downtown Atwood. Talons Out Live takes you in-depth and behind the scenes with West Carroll War Eagles head coach Clayton Morris, with stats, comments, and a breakdown of the previous game, plus a look ahead in the schedule. We will sit down weekly with special guests and even a senior spotlight player. Now let's get this show on the road. From Christie's Camo Cafe and Grill, this is Talons Out Live. Welcome one and all to Christie's Camo Cafe and Grill in downtown Atwood. Talons Out Live, presented by Rogers Hydrant Service, right here at Christie's Camo Cafe and Grill, as we do every Wednesday. We welcome everyone in here, and hopefully it's going to be a good show, get everything squared away. Our co-host has ran in the door. Mr. Jared Mims in the house again tonight, so we appreciate Jared coming in here and at the last minute. So I think there's like a saying about that. I'm not sure what the saying is about that. I don't remember that. We'll have to figure that out. What the saying is about being right on time or being late. Do you know what that saying is, Jared?
Is that like a George Jones reference, man? What was it?
I don't know.
No show? Is that what you're saying?
No, not No Show Jones.
Okay.
But
I don't know, man. I don't know how to take that.
I don't know, but there's like a saying. It's like not better late than never, but there's something.
Right. I got you.
But we appreciate you being here and helping us out. Mr. Jared Mims in the house, going to be my co-host tonight. So, see, I just helped the waitress out. She's like, I forgot his name, so I was going to write it on his cup. But special thanks to Rogers Hydrant Service. They help us out with this each and every week. They've got hydrant flow testing, flushing repairs, valve operation, and so much more. Call Joey Cherry at 662-3700 or visit them online at rogershydrantservice.com. 125 years of combined experience in water treatment and distribution. They know H2O. And our star of the week, as every week, Coach Morris. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Good. How are y'all?
We're doing well, hanging in there. I'm going to turn him up a little bit. So
I want to say something real quick. That
Go for it.
Team night's happening right now, and actually Joey Cherry from Rogers Hydrant Service spoke tonight to the
Okay,
team.
cool.
It was a good message, man. Joey, of course, is a West Carroll alum. I told the team, I said, hey, this guy sat in the chair you're in right now. If you go look on the wall, the year 1994, you'll see that kid with the hard-parted mullet, and that was him. I was like, man, had you had that hairstyle now, you'd be a country star. But it was really good message because they played a game back in 1994 against the number one team in the state then, which was Dresden, right? And
Really?
West Carroll was winless at that time, and they beat them. They beat them here at home. I think the score was 21 or 22 to nothing. So it's a good message, man. And again, that's a great event that happens for the kids each week, just to get together, have a dinner. Junior high is part of that this year, and so it's special for them. And so to everybody who organizes that, just want to say a big thank you because it's really well done.
Yeah, and probably a big thank you to Joey Cherry for jumping in there and talking and having.
Yeah, man,
having
he's
fun
not scared. It was good.
Oh, he's a good guy. I like Joey. And then the rest of the guys, even Tim Rogers and the rest of the folks at Rogers Hydrant Service, they've done a great job. And look who's already chimed in over here, Jared. Miss Natalie Moore is listening and watching actually all the way from Knoxville.
Yeah.
So we do miss Natalie being around. She's been a staple of the West Carroll community for a while, and so
Go Vols.
Yeah, she said go Vols. So I wonder if she is okay. So I want to take my kid. Maybe Natalie can help me out with this. I want to take my kid to our first. I've never been to a first ever
Really?
Vols game.
You need to go.
I need to go.
You need
First
to go.
ever Vols game on the 22nd of October. Okay. I've seen some tickets for parking This weekend, they're playing, the Gators are going. $400. People are selling parking passes for $300 and $400, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, man.
So I may need to have a little conversation with Natalie, but like, can I park at your dorm and you carry me over there and drop me off or something?
Move to Knoxville and buy a parking lot.
That's right.
Exactly.
Retire off of that,
dude. Yeah, I mean, oh man, some of these resale values on some of that stuff is just insane. So I may have to send a message to Natalie and be like, look, can you help me out and help me understand where to get tickets at not such a breaking price, and also maybe she needs to become an Uber driver or something. I would literally rather go park at Walmart and get an Uber driver to carry me from Walmart to the game. So we need to talk to Natalie. Maybe she can be an Uber driver and get some of us from the Walmart parking lot or something over there. I don't know what else we got to do, but I've seen some of them prices. Tim McBride with McKenzie's been messaging me all day, and it's like this one dude keeps posting this ticket, and apparently it keeps going up. And I'm sure he'll probably sell it.
Yeah.
The last thing was like $400. Mm-hmm. He sent me a message while ago. I was like, golly, this is nuts. So it's a lot. Well, our first loss of the season back last Friday against Halls. Coach and I have been sitting here talking about it just a little bit off air and stuff, but we want to bring out the stats and kind of look at those. You're a lot better than that, I know, than I am, Jared. So let's take a look at some of those stats and kind of break down that game.
I think a good place to start is just, Coach, your overall impressions from the game last week.
You know, it was one of those deals where you kind of found yourself with a lot going wrong in a lot of ways. Kids played hard. I don't want to take anything away from the kids, but just really kind of felt like we were spinning wheels on a lot of things, and we tried some different things and tried to take advantage of some things, and you know, we had some bodies in different places. I mean, you can go on down the list, but at the end of the day, we just didn't get the job done. We didn't get the job done at home and against a region game, and you know, it was a tough night. It was a tough night, and that's one that you don't want to drop, but we dropped it, and we have to move forward.
Even on a tough night, still some things that, you know, remind us of who we are as a team. And I felt that when you look at things like ball control, I mean, we had the ball quite a bit to our advantage for the night. And that's something that really our offense has been built on so far this season.
We did, and we didn't turn the ball over. You know, we did turn the ball over, but it didn't feel like we were, what's the word I'm looking for, Jared? Grab bagging. You know, we were trying to spark some things. I mean, we were in a dogfight, and we talked about it last week. We knew we were going to be in a dogfight, and we were trying to get some things going. You know, we had some adversity before the game even started that we talked about before, and really trying to get some confidence into the kids. And we talked about how we needed to start fast and how we really needed to play our brand of football from the get-go, and we just weren't able to do that consistently. And hats off to Halls. Halls played well. They came in, they were ready to play, and had a little chip on their shoulder from the way things were last year at their place. And you know, it's all when you're scheduled as a homecoming game, there's always that chip, and there's that motivation that they had. So you know, I don't want to take anything away from them either. They played very, very well, and they, you know, their quarterback is a good little athlete. Number 3 for them, number 7 ran hard, and I felt like number 21 was all over the place on defense for them. So they played well. They made the plays, and we didn't.
You talk about offensive output. I mean, when you look at the numbers, not that much difference. We were at 186 net total. They're at 230, right? So talk about some of the things they did well up front that kind of gave us some challenges to really hit things where we like to go with it.
You know, again, it goes back to when a quarterback gets on our perimeter, you know, defensively, it causes us conflict, and we've got to get that squared away. Sprint out flood concepts have been an issue for us defensively all year long. And, you know, we continue to rep it, and the guy sitting next to me right here will nod his head. We rep it. And it's still not where we need it to be. So, you know, when number 3 was able to get on our perimeter, or 7 was able to get on our perimeter, it caused us some problems. And you know, Halls knew that, and they took advantage of it. You know, we saw pregame that they ran sprint out flood probably 6 times in their pregame. And we knew what was coming, and we still didn't execute. And so that's, you know, we have to look at that hard as coaches. We have to look at what our game plan was with that, because why would the next team not try to do sprint out flood? You know, the last 5 have. So, you know, Halls brought a few big bodies. Again, number 7 ran hard. He was a very good physical, stocky kid. He ran hard. He ran with a chip on his shoulder. And 3 was an athlete, and they made plays in the passing game when they had to. So, they made the plays when we didn't.
We're seeing as we go week to week here, we've really developed this kind of two-headed monster with our offense, right? With Jay Long and Jaden Milton. Both those guys still nearing 100 yards with offensive output this week. So that's big in those situations where it's a tough game, right? To still be able to drive forward and get those hard yards. Those guys really sell out.
Especially when you had an offensive line that was really in a lot of new spots, doing a lot of new jobs against a opponent that had a really good, they had some good defensive football players. And so it was, of course, as running backs or quarterbacks or whoever, you always give your credit to your offensive line. Those kids battled. Were they perfect? No, they were not perfect. Did they make a lot of mistakes? Of course they did. Were they frustrated? Very much so. Did some of them, panic a little bit? 100%. But I don't think that they just folded. They just did not know how to get out of that quicksand in certain points when we needed to get out of it, and that's youth. We had a lot of young guys, a lot of inexperienced guys, and a lot of places there. And sometimes that when you're in that situation, when you're in that struggle, you don't always understand how to get out of that struggle, and that comes with experience. And as coaches, you try to find a way to get them out of that struggle, and sometimes that's easier said than done, and we were just not able to get it put together consistently. We did a lot of good things. Jay had some big runs. Milton had some big runs. We had some passes completed. We had some good pass pro every once in a while. It was just consistency. We weren't consistent with our execution, really on both sides of the ball.
I mean, still on top of Halls with first downs for the game. What I like about what you see from our offense is we have the ability to really, control. And, like I would take a drive that's 8 yards, 4 yards, 10 yards over big plays all day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Speak to that for a second, just what that means for a team.
It's funny you mentioned that because we were talking to Coach Dixon about it. And after the reflecting on that game, you always go back and you say, well, if this, if that, should we have done this? That happens all the time. You know that as a coach. You go back and you think. And I told him, I said, did we panic too early? Did we feel the pressure of a close game and not being satisfied?
Change what we do.
Yeah, not being satisfied with the 3-4 yards a pop, because we've been saying for weeks that's a good play for us. If you can average 3 to 4 yards a carry, you're going to be where you want to be there, and we'll go for it on 4th and short. We've shown that many times. And did we panic a little bit? Maybe we did. Maybe we didn't. I don't know. It's something to keep in the back of our mind, but. We just have to remember what we are offensively, what we are, what has got us to where we were, and not saying we forgot that. It's just we have to. It's tough to remind ourselves that 3 yards in a cloud of dust is okay to live that way as long as you're converting and as long as you're moving and as long as you're staying ahead of the chains. It's demoralizing. It truly is, and maybe Halls was able to do that a little bit themselves in that offense and maybe put a little stress on us, thinking we might not get the ball again. I think Halls had a very good drive in the third quarter there that ate up a lot of time. I don't think they scored, but it ate up a lot of time, and maybe that put a little strain on us offensively, thinking we might not get another possession. And so that is a mind game that goes on the sidelines.
We can still kind of talk about some stats and stuff too, but let's go ahead and talk about some of your likes and dislikes. What's maybe some of the top 2 likes and dislikes that really, reared its head on Friday night against Halls?
I think we had some younger guys step in and do some jobs that I think we're going to be able to build on. And when you get to this part of the season, you have to have depth. You have to have people that can come in and do a job. And so we asked some new people to come in and step in and fill some roles for us, whether it was injuries or other things. And so there were some positives there looking at the film. There's some things you can build on, and some guys took advantage of their situations. I do like how I feel like our defense responded for the most part. They gave up a barn burner the week before with South Fulton, and they really battled with Halls, and it was a slugfest back and forth between them and Halls' offense. So I was proud of that, and I was proud of special teams. I think special teams has continually got better every week, and it was abysmal in the beginning, and every week it's gotten better. So I was proud of those things. Areas of concern, it's still probably the biggest concern, and this is for 2 weeks now. Offensively and defensively, we have not been on the same page, meaning that 1 week offense will click and defense stays in the locker room, or the next week defense. 3 weeks now. We can go back to Humboldt. 3 weeks in a row, it doesn't seem like we have been in sync. What I mean is, say defense is clicking, pitching the shutout, offense is struggling.
Team. Right.
Or offense is putting up 50-plus points and defense is giving up 45. We're struggling to come together as this one unit right now, and it's not out of spite. It's not like anyone's making that conscious decision. It's so far for 3 weeks, one's clicking or one's not, and that's a concern because when you start playing the teams we're getting ready to play, you better be hitting on all cylinders, all phases of the game, and you better be ready to go.
Do you feel like, and you kind of touched on just a smidge, but do you feel like that I know 7 days in between the South Fulton and Hall's game, but did both mentally and physically, do you feel like that game just yanked a lot out of some of these kids and they wasn't able to completely recover in those 7 days? Or, I mean, when you go such a close game like that.
It's hard to speak about what goes through a teenager's head. It really is, and they go through a lot. They
Would you like to weigh in on that? He's like, nope, not now.
They go through a lot. They've got a lot of different things and stressors that go on in their life, and sometimes as coaches we forget that. But I think it was. And we talked about it last week, and we talked about it all week in practice, that there was a lot of adversity going in the last week. It was no secret, and we were in it, and it was our own doing. We made the decisions. We had to reap the consequences of whatever they were, and unfortunately, we weren't able to pull it together and get what we needed to get out of it. But I think there was a lot of extra strain on the kids, a lot of extra unknown maybe for the kids. And again, even though they haven't been playing like a youthful team, we do still have a lot of youth doing a lot of major roles that are still trying to figure themselves out and how they fit into this whole heartbeat of this team. And sometimes you just you forget. You forget that you've got some kids doing some jobs that they haven't been asked to do before now, and even that includes some seniors. And so that sometimes it's hard to replace experience, especially when you get to the struggles and the adversity and the different things that come with that.
So, we've reached the halfway point of the season. I guess take a moment and, speaking for offense, kind of look back and where you are now. And, there's always this, process with any side of the ball, right? I guess talk about how you feel about progress and where you'd like to see us go as we kind of move down the road, like you said, into these really tough games that we have to win.
I do feel like this year offensively, we know what we are, and we have established what we are very well. It has not been a grab bag week to week. I'm not saying that was 100% what it was, our first year, but I feel like there's a plan. There's a rhythm. There's a rhyme. Coach Dixon has worked extremely hard and done a great job in trying to understand not just what he's wanting to do, but what defenses are giving him and what he could do with what he wants. If we figure out what it is, how they're playing us. And I think that's only going to improve as we move into these more difficult opponents. So I am happy where offense has gone, where it's going. Where I'd like to see it go, I'd like to see us be able to take advantage of the perimeter somehow, some way, consistently. We're getting ready to play some teams that last year this time they'd loaded the box on us, and we weren't able to take advantage of space. And so far this year, we've taken advantage of space inconsistently. Sometimes we do it and we look great. Sometimes we do it, and boy, I don't know if we've ever tried it. So. And I'd like to see that really grow for us offensively, because when we get those one-on-one matchups or we get grass, we need to be able to exploit that to loosen up the box so Jay and so Milton and so Dalen and all those guys can get going. And we need to be able to buy Jackson some time. We got to get him some time to see where it's going, and sometimes Jackson needs to understand that it might not have the time to see it open up. He's just got to trust that it's going to open up and put it in the spot, put it at the grass, and that's time. It's just going to take time and take trust and take trust in the receivers and take trust in the backs and the line, trust what's going on and just a little bit more. I think I made the comment today, we're so close to being so good, it's frustrating.
Because you can see it.
We're so close.
Right.
In the moment you feel like, man, we're so far. But when you sit and you watch the film,
it's like that unstoppable verge right there. You're right on.
I think I made the comment on Saturday. I think I didn't talk to Coach Dixon much on Saturday, but I texted him and said, we're so close to being so good, it's frustrating. It frustrates me, and we just got to take that step. We got to be willing to take that step, get just a little bit more uncomfortable, and let's see what happens.
Right. You got any other stats you want to take a look at?
I mean, I think it's a good moment for the team to grow from this last game. When you talked about really take advantage of who we are and what we do. So, of course, these games are tough. I can tell you right now, Coach Moore's like me. I don't want to talk about it. What happened last week. Let's just move on to next week. Like, there's been games.
You want to run through this timeline pretty quickly and be done.
We had, Bruce did put it on us a couple weeks ago at junior high, and I was like, we ain't watching the film. We're going to burn the film. We're moving on. But it's a good moment to really focus on who we are and what we do. And look, I mean, I'm excited about the back half of the season. I mean, and I think that pressure that the kids have now, it's a good pressure, right?
And there's always different ways to look at things. And initially when you look at a loss like that, and it is, I don't want to say that it's definitely not a good thing, because it's going to put us in a situation we got to control a lot of things moving forward. However, I am interested to see how this team responds. I'm interested to see what they do. Are we going to fold up shop, or are we just going to say throw our hands up and be like, well, it's here it is, it's same old, whatever the mindset is, or are we just going to go to work? Again, that drive and that fire and that chippiness on our shoulder that we started the season with, we haven't had it.
Right. Yeah.
We didn't have it at South Fulton, and we didn't have it against Halls, and now that hopefully we've been humbled a little. Maybe we've learned, and maybe we can start that back up. Maybe that comes back, because that's our team's identity.
I'm
that's
so glad you brought that
are.
up, because when people ask me that about West Carroll, I always say, man, what I love about this team is these guys play like nothing is given to them, right? Nothing comes easy. We have to work for it. So it excites. It like they have that chip, and that's our identity. That's who we are, and it's a good thing, right? Because we control that. We know how to take that and use it to our advantage. But you're right. That's just the DNA of this team. Everybody feels like in some way they're not given their fair due, right? They've been cheated in some way, and we're not given the respect we deserve. And so they use that as fuel. That's who we are. You hit it right on the head.
Yep. And I don't feel like we've been living on that heartbeat here recently.
Yep.
And if we haven't been portraying it towards our opponent. We've been portraying it more inward instead of more as a, hey, let's all
let's all
unite. Just get behind this and let's go to work. And that's kind of where we started the season. It has lulled. I almost kind of felt, I was painting today, and I felt like that lull point in the MLB season. You know, sometimes franchises, they're hot, and then they hit just a little bit of a lull point, and they're just kind of in that just slowly moving along, and then all of a sudden they'll jump right back up. I'm hoping we get that jump right back up soon. Get that up fire
sooner
again.
than later.
Get that fire again.
All right, let's take a look at our turning points of the game, our Ash Photography Snapshot of the Week. If you want family portraits, senior pictures, maternity, newborn, even wedding photos, call Ashton Worrell at 358-5956. You can visit Ash Photography on Facebook or Instagram for more information and a link to her website. So our Ash Photography Snapshot of the Week. What was just that moment that turning point in that game?
I don't know if there was a definitive turning point in the game. It was, I mean, because it was a battle down to the end. I mean, we executed a perfect onside kick right there towards the end to give ourselves a chance. And you know, shout out to Jose. I think he perfectly executed 2 onside kicks to open up the game, and then that one right there gave us a shot. And I don't feel like either team ever really established themselves as just that dominant team in that game. It was a back and forth struggle. So I think, and it was that way.
Either way.
It was that way up until the very end. I mean, until we didn't convert on 4th down, and they made mistakes. We made mistakes. They made good plays. We made good plays. We played average at times together, and so I don't know. Maybe I was feeling it wrong, but I never felt like either team had established themselves as just a pure, clear-cut favorite in that contest. I felt like it was just a back and forth the entire time.
And real quick, just to go back to that moment, the onside kick at the end of the game, I think we had how much time was left? Just
like
over a minute, maybe 50 seconds, 51 seconds.
It was not much at all.
I have rarely heard our crowd that loud as they were in that moment, man. That was a huge moment. That's something you work on. So it's nice to see that pay off on it.
Well, and you was even talking about, the crowd. Even in the beginning, it seemed like the crowd was more electric this past Friday night than they have been in a long time. It was very unique.
Well, I think the crowd felt the adversity the kids were in too. I mean, it's again, the team has a heartbeat, and the team was in some adversity and some things that happened, and they were dealing with this, and I've said it multiple times. This community that West Carroll has is phenomenal. It's a great community. Yeah. It's a great support system, and they want to see our kids succeed, and they do have expectations for our kids. So of course they were right there behind them to cheer them on, and we appreciate that, and we hope that that keeps going as we keep going through the season.
Yeah, it was definitely a different electric atmosphere the other
Yeah.
night. That was very unique to kind of see
Well,
that, and it was fun.
Got to be electric tomorrow night too,
No doubt
right?
about
So
it.
we'll
doubt
talk
about
about
it.
this more obviously as we get
That's
close
right.
to it. But
That's right.
Thursday night football, man, we got to be on full force.
Yeah.
Full force.
All right, so let's kind of look at, you really wasn't able to kind of find that snapshot of the week. So let's talk about your Zombie Trail Paintball scary moments in time. Zombie Trail Paintball located at 1533 Mason Grove Road in Humboldt. For more info and to buy tickets, visit zombietrailpaintball.com or check out them out on Facebook. And then back again in 2022 is the Camp Blood Cabins. You can visit them online at campbloodtn.com for more information. So is there anything that really stood out to you as like a scary moment from that game?
All of it? Can we go with all?
That's fine.
No, it was just, homecoming. That brings its own challenges. It was all a recipe for a very, very long night, and it was just can we keep it together? Can we hold it together? And we were not able to do that. So of course the interceptions that they cause us problems. Defense giving up some big pass plays on the back end that causes us some problems. So I don't know if there was just one instance where you're just like, oh, this is the worst moment. It was just a slugfest. It was a slugfest back and forth, and it was a high emotion night, and we came out on the short end of it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's fair, because it was one of those things where you're like, it was some of the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. Back to back to back to back to back, and it was a very unique game. It seemed like it still could have been like one of those games at South Fulton where it was so back and forth.
It was,
but I think it was like super high and super low.
Yep.
It wasn't that happy medium.
No.
in any form throughout
for
that
both
game.
teams. For both teams,
You're right.
Halls was down in the lows some too.
Oh,
they just made one or two more plays than we did, and so it was. Again, I think it was an evenly matched game on Friday. They came to play, and our kids played hard, and they made a few more plays than we did.
All right. So what about your player of the week? Yeah.
Player of the week.
Sometimes all this is tough to pick out, especially when we got a game that tough.
And I wish I hadn't named them the week before because
we can name it again.
We're going to go with the unit. We're going to go with the unit here. I'm going to go with the kickoff unit. I'm going to go with the whole kickoff team because if you think about where we were at the beginning of the season, we were giving up tremendous field position to the other teams. We were giving up kickoff to Gleason. We gave up a touchdown on kickoff. Now, not only are we giving up less field position, we're recovering onside kicks with that same unit. So anybody that and Coach Taylor and Jose and all the other 10 that are on there, and he's worked really hard to find the right recipe of 10 people on there selling out. I'm going to go with the kickoff team unit because it's hard to execute and recover an onside kick, especially that second one when everybody and their grandmother knew.
They know it's coming. They know it's coming. Right.
They know it's coming. And we executed it perfectly. So that we'll go with that whole unit, and then of course that does include Jose and his magical foot,
Magic Martinez.
Yeah, but again, it doesn't happen by mistake, right?
No.
I mean, and Coach Taylor does a good job. I'll watch him coach during practice. I mean, he is on it. So. Kudos to him, and I know the players make plays, but
he puts
a
lot of pride.
He does.
In it,
you got to have that because those are things that get left behind by some teams, right? And so, if you're in the moment, you're like, oh man, I wish we'd have worked more on this because here we are in this moment. But it paid off, and it was, look, and Jose has done well all season.
He has.
PAT wise, I'm not sure where he is for the year, but.
Oh gosh,
goodness, he's punching them through.
He's probably well over 70% at this point right now on the season. So that's.
Let me see if we can look that up.
That's
I only had stats in front of me. I do, but
I don't know if that. I don't know if that's on there. I don't know if I have any season stats yet with me.
I'll see if I can.
Let's set up for next week. Yeah.
I'll see if I can get Statty Don on that.
Yeah.
So, all right, tell you what, we're going to step away, take a 1-minute message. We'll come back and talk a little bit more about it, a little bit more about Halls, and then kind of go into our senior spotlight player and what we got coming up on tomorrow night. So you're listening to Talons Out Live here on the War Eagle Radio Network. Are you looking for shirts, apparel, and other supplies to support your favorite War Eagle? Digital Graphics in Atwood has you covered with expert screen printing and embroidery on uniforms, caps, signs, and more. Brent Stafford is ready to help you display your War Eagle pride to cheer on your team throughout the entire season. Call Digital Graphics at 731-225-4275. Plus, check them out on Facebook. Rogers Hydrant Service Incorporated is a family-owned and operated company located in the heart of West Tennessee. Their business stands on hard work and hands-on customer service. Whether you need hydrant flow testing, flushing and repairs, valve operation, hydrant painting, GPS mapping, backflow device testing and repair, or water main repairs, they're the complete hydrant company to serve all of your hydrant needs. Call Tim Rogers or Joey Cherry at 731-662-3700. Rogers Hydrant Service Incorporated, they know H2O.
Wish that I was on old Rocky Top down in the Tennessee hills. Ain't no smoggy smoke on Rocky Top, ain't no telephone bills.
Welcome back live on the War Eagle Radio Network. Talons Out Live, presented by Rogers Hydrant Service. I wonder if Natalie's still watching. I played that just for her.
I'm sure this is making Coach Nams feel really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Right now.
Oh,
Not my
wait,
thing.
wait
It's
a
all
minute.
good.
So, okay. So let me guess. You're an Alabama fan.
No.
No?
Man,
Oh, LSU? Is
Grew
that
up in
right?
New Orleans, man.
Don't
LSU. Did I get
disrespect
that
him
right?
that way.
Well, here's
My
and
goodness.
here's the cool thing. Like, my parents have had Saints season tickets ever since there's been a team.
Right.
So I love LSU, but I bleed black and gold. That's who I am, you know what I mean? So as a kid, I mean, I got to see Dan Marino and John Elway and Steve Young and Joe Montana. All these players play. Didn't realize it in the moment, right? But they still go to the games every weekend.
I don't know if you know it or not. I'm sure you probably do. But I guess it was it last Saturday or last Sunday, I think it was, the Saints game. Your wife she's sitting over here. Your wife posted some stuff on Facebook, and you're like this at the TV. I'm talking.
Yeah.
He's like this close to the TV,
Yeah.
glued to it. And I'm like, Jared, calm down.
So now
Just
it's
sit down,
me,
man.
it's Jackson, and it's also, this is funny. You don't know this, Coach Morris. When Jackson feels like we need to play, he said, I'm going to do the Coach Morris. And he squats down.
It gets down. Yeah, that's
everybody do the Coach Morris here.
They give me a hard time about that. But that is my stance.
But it works.
That's the
It
coach.
works.
That's the Coach
So
Morris
I started
stance.
doing it, too.
Yeah, it's
To the TV when you're watching the Saints game.
that stance is used in a lot of different situations on the sideline. Some good, some bad, some
Good ones,
nervous.
bad
some-
ones, any
that's-
situation.
That's
You're
right.
right.
That's
I
right.
appreciate that.
That's
right.
awesome. I like that. All right. So what? Any injuries from this past week? Weekly injury report.
I mean,
That's a good thing if he has to think about it. so.
outside of just some normal season wear and tear, you know, some
Mid-season stuff, yeah.
some management. You know, there may be some management things that we have to look at and you know, maybe have a good plan here and there with that, but nothing major, nothing season ending at this point.
Right.
You know,
That's
so again, it's probably just normal. If I was going to say normal, we've been playing physical football and we've played some physical teams, and so that's going to have some wear and tear on bodies. And Hunter will tell you here in a minute that sometimes it's hard for high school kids to do what it takes to take care of their bodies and take that 10 extra minutes for an ice bath, or that 10 extra minutes for some stretching, or those different things. But
They're invincible, Coach. You know this. They don't need ice.
until they wake up on that Sunday morning and they're really, really, really sore. But no, it's
And
just.
I don't know if I could do that.
It's just the normal grind of a physical football team.
All right. So things to fix. Any specifics?
You know, we get
From
people
that game.
we get people back into spots that we started the year with this year, get a little bit more closer to what we were at the beginning of the year. We're not 100% there yet, but we're getting closer. We're working, so that's a positive. I hope that our offensive line is more in sync this week. Again, it's not that our line did not play well last week, but that unit, there's an ununderstood, unless you've just been a part of that game. That offensive line unit is just as much about a relationship of working together than it is of understanding your play.
Right.
Like, you have to understand how the people beside you are going to accomplish that goal. And when you start moving pieces around and you put new faces in there, it's not that they're not playing hard. It's just how they go about that down block or that skip pull, that wrap pull, whatever it is. It's different. And so that timing is all off. And so, you know, this week, hopefully we get back to it. I think we have a train every week.
Last week was three.
Last
week was three, I
Every week. I think we have a train.
What's his name? What's his name?
Jet.
He's
Jet.
excited.
Hey, go out the front door, homie. You just go. Mom will catch up with you. He's like, I want to go. And like, just go. Mom will catch up with you. She'll get there eventually, won't she?
So, you know, I hope to see a little bit more of what we were before, you know, the adversity hit offensively. And defensively, I really just want to see us go.
Right.
I want to see us go. You know, every week, and I think me and Coach Dolan talk about this a lot, every week it seems like defensively we're doing more and more thinking and less going. If you think back to where we started the season, Did we make mistakes? 100%. But if you watch those mistakes, we were going. We were bringing the hits. We were bringing the bodies. We were just going after people. And we're in that mid-season slump. And I feel like we're trying to think too much instead of just going out there to play. And so this week, offense, I wanted to see that chemistry that we've had, before this adversity hit, and then defensively, I just want to see us go. Whoever's out there, I want to see you go. I want to see you go. I want to see you compete. I want to see you play full speed. If you make a mistake, so be it. Just go play and play fast, and let's see what happens.
Now, I know we still got a game to play tomorrow night, but look, kind of just one quick look ahead to the Lake County game. You should, air quote, should have everybody pointed back in their proper positions and have it
Don't
more.
jinx it, Jonathan. I mean,
Sorry.
you got to play a game tomorrow night.
Okay.
Knock
That's
on wood.
fair.
Again, the great thing about this season in this sport is it's a process.
Right.
It's a process, and you've got these lily pads along the way that you hop to, and you want to accomplish these goals, but there is a grand process, a grand scheme. There's a grand goal, and so. Do we think a lot about Lake County? I try not to.
Right.
I've always tried not to think ahead.
Right.
I want to be where we are. I tell the kids all the time, be where your feet are. Well, our feet are right here with Mackenzie coming to West Carroll tomorrow night. That's where our feet are at. And if we're not 100% in tune to that, it's going to be a long night. And so, if we've learned one thing, I hope it's that we have to be focused on task at hand. We have to be focused on whatever that task is. And then the next one will take care of itself once we reset this one. And that's what I'm hoping to see the growth with this group right now on that.
Right. All right, we're going to step away and take another quick 1-minute message. We'll come back with our senior spotlight player, and then we'll get into talking a little bit more about the game coming up tomorrow night. So we're going to step away another minute and be back with more Talons Out Live here on the War Eagle Radio Network. Are you looking for the best knowledge about H2O? Call Rogers Hydrant Service Incorporated. At Rogers Hydrant Service, they focus on building strong relationships with each of their customers to ensure every experience is the best that it can be. With over 125 years of combined experience in water treatment and distribution, they can help you achieve the best results from your water distribution system. Call Rogers Hydrant Service.
It's clean.
At 662
It's cold.
7300.
And that's what I call high-quality H2O.
Get your War Eagle pride lifted to an all-new level with Digital Graphics in Atwood. With screen-printed shirts and so much more, Digital Graphics will get you set up with no art fees, no setup fees, nor color-changing fees. They will match anyone's prices, and they also offer delivery. Check out their work on Facebook or call 731-225-4275. Digital Graphics, screen printing, and signs. Welcome back live on the War Eagle Radio Network. Talons Out Live, presented by Rogers Hydrant Service. You don't like my musical selections here?
What is this?
It was the Music Box Dancer by, who is that? Frank Mills.
Right-click on that
classic.
and
remove that from the list.
You can't have a football show.
I mean, my goodness.
Goodness gracious.
Going to the freaking children's museum there or something, man.
It got to the last.
Play Kids Bop next week.
That's right.
Like Baby Shark or something. No, it got to the last second, and I just had to grab something that was quick.
Listen, you're right, and Coach Morris does this with his little girl. When you're traveling, a little one is crying, you will listen to whatever you have to listen. I don't care what it is. If it is
the things
Russian polka, I'm putting it on.
The things that get stuck in my head.
Yeah.
The songs.
And speaking of little ones, yours just come back in. That was like a long train. It was like the whole minute break plus more.
Yeah.
And, dude, that kid was grinning from ear
loves
to
it,
ear.
man. He
Loves
loves
the
it.
train.
Loves
See,
it.
now when I was his age and kind of growing up and stuff, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a train engineer. I wanted to drive a train. And then, once I got older to understand it, when they call you, like if you live around here, they call you at 2 a.m. in the morning, you better be in Brewston by 4 a.m. That's your limit. I mean, you kind of know some of your schedule, but I can't live like that. I don't know how them guys live like that. I mean, we got to have those people. We appreciate them people driving the trains, but I don't know how they live like that.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a senior spotlight player each week. And this week is none other than Mr. Hunter Reynolds. Pull that microphone a little closer to you right there.
Is that good?
And that's good. And we'll turn you up here. So, Hunter, how you doing tonight, brother?
Good.
Doing good. He's got. We didn't know that he was going to eat before he got here, so we
He'll
got
eat
him.
this though. Trust me, these
he'll
boys
eat that
will eat. Yeah.
He we got him the Morris special, and so now he's had to put it in a to-go box. So I have that about 2 a.m. in the morning. Wake up and
the Nets were attacking it, so I
he got it. That's good.
Tuck it away.
Yeah. So they opened the door and the flies come in and was like trying to attack his stuff. So, but yeah, they got him a to-go box to handle that, so he can check that a little bit later. So, all right. So one of the first things that we like to ask each and every person when they come on this broadcast, who is Hunter Reynolds? Like, where did you come from? Did you grow up around here? Is football been your thing this whole time? Like, who is Hunter Reynolds?
Well, I was born in Joliet, Illinois. And
that's way on up there by Chicago, right?
It was.
Gotcha.
It was.
Okay.
And I moved down to St. Louis, like St. Louis area. It was on the Illinois side, but I lived there until my 8th grade year. I moved down here.
Okay.
I hadn't played football at all. I played 8th grade year. I just walked on.
Like mid-season, you joined us.
Yeah,
I remember.
mid-season.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I balled out. I tell you.
He did, but listen, I
went
remember.
crazy.
I remember because it was me, it was Coach Miles. Remember Coach Miles?
I
and
do.
Coach Mack was here. And Coach Miles was like, hey, this kid's a player now. He's a player. So he started to think both sides of the ball. I mean, he didn't leave the field. He was good.
Turn my mic off. So when you got on the football team and stuff, so why did you decide to join the football team? What was the thing? What just made you make that decision?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I do not remember. But
Well, I'll tell you what he had. The quality he's got and he still has today is he's smart, man. He's a smart kid. He is coachable and he is smart. And so that's why he was a good player. I mean, he's athletic, of course, and that helps with football. But, man, he knew his assignments and he was good at it.
From your side and your mindset, what do you like about it the most?
gives me something to do, I guess. That's really
Keeps you out of trouble, right?
Yeah, that's it.
He said that's it. So, and sometimes we do like to ask, what about this guy sitting to your left right here? What is some of the things that he has done for you the most? Like what's those top two things, I guess, that really Coach Morris has instilled in you as a player and made you a better person?
I think Coach Morris, I think he's a great coach. I think he's probably one of the best coaches West Carroll's ever had, honestly. He understands that there's a player, like a person behind the player, I'd say. And that's a lot of why I like him as a coach. He doesn't just – most coaches, they'll put a player here and they'll say, you're playing this position or you can leave type of thing. Coach Morris, he'll work with them. He'll work with the players. He understands how players feel. He gets it. He gets it a lot. He connects more with a player, like as a person, than as just a member of the team. And I like that a lot about him.
Okay, so before I come to you and kind of bounce back, Jared, and this will probably hit with you as well. Do you ever have those moments where you hear somebody speak and you hear the way that they talk and the way that they answer a question? That was one of those moments right there. Are you going to stick around here after high school?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Do you get where I was going with that?
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
So I searched out Carter Deere, and I mean, like, some of the things, the way that he spoke and the way, his radio voice and the way that he talked was like, I got to have that guy. You just had that. When you answered that question, I heard it. I could hear that. So I'm like, man, if he's going to be around here, maybe we could get him.
He could join join the
yes,
broadcast.
exactly. Yeah. So think about that. Think about sticking around here. All right, so now I'm going to kind of turn it over to you, Coach Morris. Kind of the same question back to him. What is some of the top things that you really see in him that you really, make sure that you use him in those specific areas and things like that?
Well, I really thought he was going to throw me under the bus about how we got him back. So, the funny story with that one is it'll always go down as never leave the door open for Coach Morris with talking.
He's a salesman.
Hey, we got
a little worse than that.
We got his schedule changed, baby. We got him back and got him hooked. But no, it's so Reynolds, and we have a lot of hunters, so I call him Reynolds. he was always one of those from day one. Of course, I think he began to develop a relationship with Coach Dixon before you even came back out, right? You had him in class, and so I didn't know. I knew who he was. I tried to talk to him before when I first got hired, but I didn't have a relationship with him, and Coach Dixon did, and Coach Dixon kept saying, he'll make you smile. He's a different cat. He's just he's a different individual, and he's 100% correct. Reynolds is a different individual, and he does make you smile. But there was a defining moment during the off season for us, and it really, every once in a while you get a reminder that yes, you want to win football games. Yes, you want to, you want to be competitive, and you want to go compete for state titles. But there is a person behind the player, and everyone has a story, and I guess that's one thing that over the years I've tried to make a priority for me is to know my players inside and out, know what makes them tick, know the struggles, know the successes, and feel it with them. And for right or for wrong, this is who I am. I'm a relationships guy, and Reynolds and I had a situation where it just kind of it really saw a side of Reynolds, and from that point on, I feel like he's been 100% in.
Yeah.
And I'm 100% a fan of this kid over here, and he's scary smart. Coach Mims says he's smart.
Yeah.
He's scary smart.
Right, yeah.
And it does not take him long to catch on to what you're doing. So those things about him and what he can bring to the team. I mean, we can throw calls on him quick, and he gets it. He understands it. He sees it. And he can think abstractly. He can see how things are supposed to fit in front of him, and there's not very many teenagers that can do that. And so whatever it is he's going to do once he graduates here, as long as he wants to be good, and I've told him this a lot, as long as he wants to be good and puts his mind to it, he's going to be very good at whatever it is he does.
But with that kind of intelligent answer that he just gave a while ago, not only does that say a lot about you, Hunter, but it also says that he got in there in less than those 2 years that you've been here and bought into what you were doing, and he knows you.
It's been a year for him.
Okay.
He's been a year, and so that.
But he's bought into it.
Well,
you can tell that he is. It seems like he may have bought into it more than a lot of folks.
Well, and Coach Mims will tell you this, and I think Hunter led into it. Sometimes we just need to remind ourselves that we are humans,
right.
and that it's okay to talk and just. I don't know how I'm trying to say this. Of course, I want to view my players as players, and I want us to go play. That's not putting that to the side. But when we walk off that field, I want these kids to know that I'm here for them, not just on that field. I'm here for them in the school. I'm here for them in the community. And I also want them to know that it's not just until they graduate. It's after they graduate. I will do anything in the world for anyone that does what I ask them to do.
Right.
And that's kind of my investment into them. If they buy into me, I will be their number one supporter for as long as I possibly can, or as long as they need me to be. And Reynolds did that from day one.
As a senior on this team, what do you feel like is some of your top roles as a senior, as that leader, and how do you go about, talking to some of your players and saying, hey, let's get this pointed in the right direction, and let's get this, and this done?
Well, I feel like a top role, for me at least, just to keep people on track for the most part. After the last game especially, there were a lot of people that just were totally down about the whole thing, and I just couldn't get it. I didn't get it at all. From my perspective of it, I wasn't upset about the whole thing. I was mad. And I felt like I had to remind people to not get sad about the whole we lost against Halls type of thing.
It was a different kind of mad.
Yeah,
right?
You have to get mad about this loss and move on from it,
Right.
And I feel like a big role for me is to just keep people on track with where their mind needs to be, because it's really easy to get lost in that whole, just get down in it. But you have to get mad and move on for anything to get done,
Right. Now, looking ahead to after school, we've already established that he's not going to be around here, he doesn't think, but do you already have some of your plans set aside for college, for after high school? What is your plans, or workforce, whatever?
I was planning on going into the military and Air Force.
Awesome.
I'm going to probably enroll in Martin. Going to go to Martin, either before or after. I don't know. That's what I'm really deciding right now. But yeah, that's really it for now.
Hey, that's an important role in America and everything too, and that's you're going to do good things. I can see that already. I mean,
You ever need
I
an
feel that.
individual to make you smile?
He's the guy.
It's this
But
guy right
let's-
here.
Let's do this. So if you go to the Air Force and maybe you're a pilot, do you have any? Can you arrange a flyover at West
Yeah, I
Carolina?
got you. I
yeah,
got you.
that's
Nice,
what we need.
right?
My gosh,
That's
Reynolds.
what we
That's
need.
good. But it's still,
Yeah.
let me ask this question real quick because I think you said what I when you came here in 8th grade and you joined our team. Had you not played football at all? You said.
No.
I had no idea. Listen, I had no idea until right now.
And he didn't play last year. And
I know, but-
well, he didn't have much of a choice this year. I kind of pulled that switcheroo
I think
on
your
his
first
schedule.
game was like at Huntington. I think is that right? Like I remember it was
Oh,
a
yeah.
big game, and
And it had his reads. Like it's like at linebacker. It was spring. I remember telling
I
him
had
it's
no
like it's
idea.
like he had never missed a beat. And again, I know Coach Wolf was great at coaching reads with linebackers and defensive football. I mean that was his bread and butter. And so I know Reynolds had a lot of good coaching at that. But he took a whole year off, and I highly doubt linebacker reads ever crossed your mind during that year off.
Not a.
Yeah, exactly. and then for him to come back out and just be able to
Riding the bike, man. Riding the bike.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. So it from day one, I've been impressed with him, and that's only grown more and more and more as I've got to know him, and I'm lucky to get to know him.
All right, so I'm going to leave your microphone on, but we appreciate you joining us. Very intelligent. I can just see it and I can feel it. That's why when I heard his voice and heard your answer, I was like, man, I need this guy. I gotta make this click. Man, my pen back before you get
French dressing.
French dressing on my pen. We don't need all that.
That's a salad.
Big salad.
That's a salad.
That is a huge salad. Do you
salad.
want me to turn your mic off? So you can see
I'm gonna wait. I'll wait for the break, man. I know. I work in
we're gonna-
broadcasting. I know to wait for the
we
break.
ain't
and-
going to have much of a break because we're going to just jump right into it. But like I said, I'm going to leave your microphone on because you can, if you want to interject into this. But it says look ahead to next week, and it's not 2 days away. It's tomorrow. It's coming up tomorrow night. And I guess one of the first questions I want to ask about that is it being 6 days instead of 7 days and then turning right around and, you know, being a very quick week because, I mean, we just run right into this where we had, like, you know, a junior high game that just got, boom, all of a sudden moved to home.
Sorry about that junior high game.
It
Got
is
moved
what
to
it is.
Tuesday because we played on Thursday. So,
But yeah,
Right.
I mean,
well, that's what it is. So what happened is back in July, I think,
Yep.
you know, TWSAA is asking teams to play one Thursday night game a year because of a shortage of officials,
Right.
right? So quick
For the high
PSA,
school,
if
yeah.
you want to be an official,
yes,
you're
100
needed.
Yes,
You're needed, yeah.
So I had a game scheduled Thursday night
Mm-hmm.
with JCS, and I moved mine to Tuesday, right? So we could have the McKinsey game at home. But what happened with the junior high game, if you just so you know, it's supposed to be at JCS, was moved to West Carroll because of the heat, because JCS
Turf.
has a turf field.
And you said,
think
what, 20 to 30 degrees?
It is
Without a
hotter.
doubt.
It
coming
is.
off of that?
It's like playing
Easily.
on blacktop.
easily.
I know we were at a camp at Austin Peay in July, and it was hot, and just these boys taking a knee on that field. It's
That
they
had to
were-
hurt.
They're burning. So you know,
Because it's
and-
got little rubber tire chips
Yep.
down in it to hold
yeah.
the.
So
hold it
JCS called and said, hey, we want to move the game to West Carroll, and
So they initiated it.
yeah, they made the
good.
call. It's their deal. And plus, their high school team plays USJ this week, so I'm sure they want all the field time they can get later in the night, right, for that, I would imagine. But, yeah, I mean, so real quick, kudos. You know, I got on the phone with Coach Morris right away, Adam Douglas, David with the Touchdown Club called you to make sure you can announce and all. So
Right.
everybody stepped up,
Jared
man, to make that
scrambled the
happen.
Jets real quick.
It was
He did-
24
he did-
hours
he did
ahead
a great
of
job.
yeah. So
great job
it was
pulling
good.
that
We
off.
flipped
And,
it. We
hey,
flipped
big
it.
win last night
And
on
we
that
won,
one.
too.
So,
It was
man,
good.
so
Good, yeah.
That was really
congratulations
good.
on that.
I was hoping you was going to be able to have some of your coaches come with you next 2 weeks. Okay, in 2 weeks.
2 weeks
when
will
you
do it.
come
Well,
back.
Rick's daughter plays softball. So he's watching her. And
Oh,
Bo,
and that's 8th grade
Bo was
night, too.
wrangling the kids at team night.
With
so, yeah.
Dixon and Taylor. They're
Yeah,
all right.
that's
They're
okay.
ranked.
They're
They're
all in good hands.
So handcuff them 2 weeks when you come back as a co-host in 2
I will
weeks.
do that.
We want them back.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's go back to that. This quick week with that junior high game, and then all of a sudden this team night. You got Talons Out Live tonight, and you had to kind of run away from them, and all this just quick, get it in and stuff it in between now and Thursday. Has that affected anything, you feel like?
Oh, without a doubt. And we talk every week, and Coach Mims could attest to this. Kids need ritual. They need
Routine,
habit.
yeah.
They need routine. And I don't feel like our kids have gotten much of a routine all season long. It feels like every week it's just something else, whether it's a holiday or
Yeah.
like Monday we have professional development, so they were out of school on Monday. And
Oh, I forgot about that.
With it being a short week, we called practice on Sunday, and I normally don't call practice on Sunday, so some of them got work schedules that's lined
Practice on
up.
Monday?
We practiced on Monday, but you know, so it's
Right.
short week always present challenges, and it was, you're kind of faced with, do you want a short week on the front end or the back end? Because when TWSAA picked this week for us, you either had to play on a Thursday or a Saturday. You had to pick one of the two, and so I kind of went back and forth with it, and I said, I'd rather play on a Thursday than a Saturday, because Saturdays, I want the kids to have their Saturdays. I need my Saturdays.
And I've already told you my opinion
well,
on that.
Yeah,
Thank you for the Thursday.
So, but the short week definitely presents problems. It presents challenges. It presents adversity, just because that routine is thrown off, and sometimes that's hard on teenagers, as it would be middle school kids. And I think there's even something to say for colleges and professionals. I mean, it's a routine that they get used to, and when you break that up, there is challenges that come with that.
Well, and I mean, you was even talking about the college and professionals. The Titans played Monday night, and whoa, that was rough.
But they were there.
Huh?
They were there.
They were there?
No, the Titans were there. I don't know if they played. They were there.
Oh, they were there. No, they were there.
It was crazy to think about this,
rough,
too. After the game last week, it just hit me like, my goodness, we're halfway through the season.
That's the crazy thing.
It's a blur.
We're 5 games into this.
It's been a blur, man.
That's just a testament to how fast it goes. And we talked to the kids about it, and I don't think they realize it. We've got 2 juniors sitting behind us. I know they don't realize it because the seniors didn't realize it until now. It's starting to hit them now. They're halfway done. This is it for them.
Yep.
It goes.
So
in a
fast.
snap of a finger. And you blink and you miss an opportunity or you take a moment for granted, you're not going to get that back, and that's the lesson we try to teach our kids, because that's something I didn't realize when I was their age. I'm not going to sit here and act like I did. I don't know, maybe you did, but I didn't. I sure didn't until it was.
Even though we got a bye week in there, I mean, we are 1 of 5 for the rest of the year as far as regular season games. Let's hope we carry on. I should have asked Adam. Maybe he's listening and text me the 10. Is that the right number? I know Adam's usually the one that's got the number.
It would be 10.
Let's talk about that game coming up tomorrow night versus McKenzie. I mean, just your initial thoughts on that and kind of what you got, what some of your game plans, don't give away any secrets, what some of your game plans going into it.
Well, first off, McKenzie is a very, very good football team. They have a lot of talent for 1A football, for 2A, for 3A football. They have a lot of really good experienced players. There's a difference between really good players and really good experienced players. They returned just about everybody from last year. With the exception of a few linemen, and they seem to have plugged those gaps, and those linemen are playing really well. There's some big kids up there, and of course there's big names there that are not just local names. I mean, we're talking about scout nationwide names that McKenzie is got on the field this year. So there's no sense of trying to hide it and trying to talk about how what they are and what they're not. They're just a very good football team. They're very good. They're playing very well. And in some ways it's almost too easy for them. The way that they're executing right now, it's just it's habit, and so it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge, and so my expectation, and we already kind of led into this. I just want to see us play our game. I want to see us play with the fire and the intensity that we started the season with. And I'm telling our kids, regardless of what happens, when you can go out there and you play your brand of football, regardless, you feel so much better. When you play the way you're supposed to play, and you do the things that you're supposed to do, you feel better. You feel, and I think our team needs that at this point. I feel like they need that feeling of we're back to who we are. We're back to playing the way we play. We're back to what got us started, and now we're ready for the second half of the season to move forward.
And I think you can probably say the same thing for both West Carroll and McKenzie, this not being a region game tomorrow night. Don't get injured on either side. I mean, I think it's going to be
that's always a sticky wicket. You don't want to go into the game with that mindset, because unfortunately, and I think Coach Mims will agree with this, more times than not, when you're playing not to get injured,
you're going to get injured.
That's when you get injured. Yeah. When you're playing with that mindset of staying safe, then you find yourself going halfway. And we tell our kids, when you go halfway, you go half speed, that's when you get hurt. You don't see very many injuries when it's 100% full speed all out, because your body is naturally ready to absorb whatever's coming. But when you're not expecting, and your body's not 100% in tune with what you're doing, that's when injuries happen. So I don't want us to go in there playing not to get hurt. I want us to go in there playing the way that we have not been played differently than what we've been playing the last 2 weeks. We have not been playing our brand of football, and I want to see that tomorrow night. And it's a great stage to do it. Why not? Why not just go see if we can play our brand of football and see what happens? They put their pants. They put their pants on the same way we do.
Right.
Regardless, we're going to have to play this game tomorrow night. There's no sense of just being lost in the thought. I mean, it's of course they're very good, and I don't want to take anything away from them, but I don't want us to lose the mental battle before we even attempt to play.
Right.
That's just as much of the struggle as anything, and it was last year, and it is this year, and I think it was for before me. I think it's this mental battle that we have to get over. And just go play the game. Go play the game and see what happens.
Okay.
And that's frustrating for and I know it's frustrating for them, but I think it speaks volumes to truth of what it is right now. It's more mental for us. And let's just go play. Let's just move out and see what happens.
Okay, as a coach, how do you do that? How do you get them? Because they hear the same things everybody else does. How do you, as a coach, point them in the right direction and get them out of that mindset?
I wish I knew the answer to that question. You want to ask a coach that's been coaching a lot longer than I have, because it's a struggle. It's a struggle, and I made the comment last night. It takes one group. It just takes one group to say, you know what? And I think that the speech that they got tonight at team night probably plays into this. And I wasn't even there, but I have a feeling it was probably about this. Just make your mind up that you're going to do your job for the people beside of you and do it full speed.
Nailed it.
And if you do that,
let's let Hunter. Was that? He said he nailed it.
Legit, the speech.
Well, my gosh,
you got it.
He said,
my gosh. But I've just always been in this mindset, and I think I was talking to someone the other day. I don't understand the mindset of not being willing to compete 100% if you're going to show up.
Right.
I don't like halfway.
Yeah.
I don't have time for halfway, and it's not a shot at anybody, but if you're going to do something, do it.
Exactly.
Or don't do it at all. And so this mindset of convenience of when we compete, that's what you have to change. How do you change it? It takes one group.
Right.
It just takes one group to say, you know what, we're going to go play. We're going to go play. We're going to play our brand. We're going to do what makes us us, because they have their own heartbeat. When tomorrow night, and I said it, we're fans. I'm a fan of them. I'll support them, but they're the ones that have to go play.
Right.
They're the ones that are going to be in that adversity, that quicksand, that struggle, that fight. They have to find their way through it. And if once they make their mind up that they're going to, and they're going to leave it all out there, I've always seen good things happen. Okay?
Right.
Doesn't always mean that it's going to result in a win, but they will feel so much better, and I think everyone else will be a lot happier with what they see on the field when they decide to do that as a team, as a unit, as a family.
Well, I think Coach Morris is right, too. I mean, the first thing is you have to acknowledge who they are, right? Acknowledge who McKenzie is, what they're great at, who they are. And you implement your plan. But I think Coach Morris is right, too. On the field, it takes one guy making a play, and somebody feeds off that, and they start going, and they start feeling it, and then it kind of spreads, right? So that one person that steps up early makes a big play, whether it's a tackle for a loss, whether they create a turnover, we bust a long run on offense. It takes just one thing to say, hey, man, listen, we're in it.
Yep.
We're in it.
And just being able to, and this is where that maturity comes into play, being able to roll with the punches, understanding that you're playing a good team. They're going to do some good things.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
They're going to score. They're going to have a big play. They may create a turnover. They're going to play with a lot of fire. Understanding that that's going to happen, and just stay grounded. Stay even keeled. Just keep going. Don't let one moment define you. Just keep on playing. Yeah. Keep plugging away and see what happens.
Roll like Hunter said, get mad, don't get sad about it. You go out there and grab that mad energy and use it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's easier said than done. I'm not
right.
unreasonable. It's easier said than done to do that, especially when you're in the heat of the struggle. You know, it's hard to describe and think about how you're going to respond in the struggle until you're in the struggle. But hopefully we've learned that how we have been responding to struggles is not how we can respond moving forward. And when we're in that struggle, that's when we have to get a little bit more closer. Yeah. We have to get close-knit, and we have to find a way to dig out of that moment to create our own moment. And that's where we've struggled thus far, in my opinion, in these last 2 weeks or 3 weeks. We can go back further.
Yeah. We probably touched on it a little bit, but let's go ahead and grab your K-Men Electric Powers to Succeed for tomorrow night. Generac home standby generators, because life is always better with power. You can get free estimates and references Call them at 571-0767. So maybe your top 1, 2, 3. Sometimes you usually pick 2 or 3. Your powers to succeed for tomorrow night.
Offensively, it starts with ball control, time of possession. Let's dominate time of possession. Ball security, no turnovers. No extra possessions for McKenzie. Make them earn what they get, and let's really kind of shorten the game. They're very explosive offensively. They've got a lot of different weapons offensively. You've got Taylor, you've got Cassidy, you've got tons of different weapons that they can go to offensively. Shorten the game for them. Make them feel like they have to push the tempo. So that for offense, that's the 2. Ball security, time of possession. Defense, bring the fight. Go back to playing fast. Understand that you're going to play a very potent offense and understand that they're going to score, but also have the mindset that you're going to make them earn it. You're going to make them go and get there. It's not just going to be water through a screen door. Someone is going to get hit. Someone's going to get tackled. We're going to make some plays. We're going to keep going. Play with that swagger that defense had when we talked about long. Defense had their identity. Offense had their identity. Defense needs to find that identity again this week. Regardless of what happens, they need to have that identity moving into the rest of the schedule. Special teams continue to get better every week. Special teams has been a gradual progression of getting better and getting better and getting better. These games, sometimes, and Coach Mims talking about that spark, sometimes it can happen on special teams in these big games.
Right.
Sometimes on a weird night when the routine's off, you might be able to steal something on the special teams. You might be able to take advantage of something on the special teams because you don't have a full week to prepare.
Right.
I need special teams to come out and perform and not take a play off.
Right. All right, so we're going to step away, take a quick 30-second break. We'll come back and wrap this all in the bow.
I want to say one thing real quick.
Go ahead,
Tomorrow night, thanks to Reynolds, and you just said this, I'm selling limited edition Hunter Reynolds Get Mad, Not Sad T-shirts.
My
gosh.
gosh.
We need
I'll
to
give you
make
color.
that.
I'll give you color.
Mad,
Thank
not
you.
sad.
Get Mad, Not Sad.
Should I trademark that?
You should trademark
we need
that.
it.
That's
Limited
right.
autographed.
That's right.
Autograph them, right?
Get mad, not sad.
Get Mad, Not Sad
That's
T-shirts.
a slogan. That's a Reynolds
I like that.
slogan. Not a boy.
Only $50 a shirt.
That's right.
Wow. That's a
Limited edition. I mean,
They're
what do you
autographed.
mean?
They're
Autographed.
Autograph limited. I bet
You're right. Make it 75.
That's awesome. All right, so we're going to step away, take a quick 30-second break. We'll come back and wrap it all in a bow after this on the War Eagle Radio Network. If fresh, homemade, hand-patted burgers and the best Southern eating is what you're looking for, well, look no further than downtown Atwood at Christie's Camo Cafe and Grill. Just across the street from Max Camo Connection, you'll find the best sweet tea on the block, a tasty Southern breakfast, appetizers, sandwiches, chicken, and more. Call ahead for takeout at 731-662-3770 or come on in, sit a while, and enjoy some good Southern eating. For hours and more information, visit Christie's Camo Cafe and Grill on Facebook. Welcome back live on the War Eagle Radio Network. Talons Out Live presented by Rogers Hydrant Service at Christie's Camo Cafe and Grill. Again, appreciate Christy giving us a spot to do this each and every week. Vicki has been awesome bringing us our sweet tea and our food, getting everything pointed in the right direction. She has not let us run out of sweet tea yet, so she's doing a good job. So we appreciate everybody here at Christie's Camo Cafe and Grill. And Jared, thank you for coming in and being our co-host this week. Always
honored to be here, man.
You just got like that insight. You just bam.
Well, I don't know
what
about
to
that,
say.
but I appreciate being here.
You and Adam both. Y'all know what to say.
I'm no Adam. Well, Adam's the man. But
I mean, y'all are both.
Y'all
Y'all are both awesome. With what you say. And Coach Morris, I mean, we're going into tomorrow night, and like you said, we got to have that attitude of just 100% and take care of business and get it done.
Just go play. It's game. Go play. Play loose and show progress. Again, it's a process. It's a process. We don't want to let one moment define us. We don't want to get trapped in one moment defining this team. We want this team to continue to push forward, to grow and achieve goals that they've set forth to them. And this is an opportunity. View it as an opportunity and take advantage of it because you might not have another one. And let's see what happens.
Let's go get them.
Yeah, I agree. And again, it's shocking. We're halfway through the season. But so far, it's been a great run for this team.
Yeah,
I'm just proud of these
tomorrow
boys.
night begins that second half.
I can tell you this from being around the team and hearing these guys talk. Their mindset is right where it needs to be for tomorrow night. I feel they're in a good place mentally, and they're ready for the challenge. And I'm excited to see them.
I will say, I've seen a little bit more leadership out of different individuals in these last 2 days about grounding ourselves and just redevoting ourselves to the process. And he's one of them, and there's been other seniors and juniors alike. And again, young team in a lot of different situations, they're growing. And that's always a great thing to see.
Yeah.
That they're growing, they're changing, they're becoming into their own, so to speak.
Right.
And they've just got to keep going. They can't get trapped in one bad situation. It's so easy, I said it to somebody earlier, it's so easy to focus on the negatives, even though when you have a lot of positives, even though when the negatives are minimal. Learn from those negatives, build on the positives, and keep going. Just keep the process going forward. The last thing I want to say, come out and support these kids.
Yeah.
This support this season for this team has been phenomenal, bar none. It's been great.
Halls was loud. We need to be louder than
Let's
that
don't
game.
stop it now, because I promise you it does mean a lot to these kids. It means a lot to them when they come out and they see the stands packed and it's loud and that emotion, they feed off of it. This Coach Mills will tell you, this is an emotional team. They feed off that emotion. They need that pumped into them tomorrow night and every night moving forward.
And you spoke real quickly of you've seen something different. Both of you have. You've seen something different in the last couple of days. Do you feel like it's that Hunter Reynolds get mad, not sad type thing, that they're like, okay, we're not going to take what happened last week. We're going to make something out of it.
I just don't think that they're allowing one situation to define them.
Right.
I think that they've grown up and matured enough to know that they still have at least 5 more to play, to make their story, to leave their legacy, whatever it is. And yeah, that one hurt. But we have to move forward. You got a game tomorrow night, and how are you gonna go play it? How are you gonna be remembered? What's your story about a Thursday night football game against McKenzie and Atwood?
Right.
You know, and I really, it makes me proud to hear them talk that way, and I think it does Coach Mims too. Because that does show maturity. It shows growth. It shows an understanding of the process and that it is a struggle. You keep going. You don't stop. You don't give up. You keep going and you see it through. You see through what you started, and that's a very big life skill that a lot of these kids are going to have, and I'm proud of that.
All right, that's it. You got anything else you want to talk about?
Like Coach Moore said, let's just go play.
Let's go do it.
Let's go play.
So tomorrow night, here at home at West Carroll, Hometown Grocery Deli pregame show starts at 6:30, kickoff at 7. I hope my listener and viewer count is down, because we want everybody in the stadium. We want you there. The West Carroll fans against Halls last week were loud. They were proud. Let's do that again tomorrow night and get behind these boys and take care of business. But, again, if you can't make it, you can't be there. We've got people that listen from North Carolina, so they're not going to be there. So, Hometown Grocery Deli pregame show 6:30.
I know two in Georgia that'll be watching.
My parents in New Orleans, they're watching every week.
My parents in Georgia will be watching. So
I gave them a shout out against Halls last week, because I found out that they were listening to each and everything.
Yep.
Your mom sent me a message and she was like, "Man, thank y'all for what you do."
I'm sorry. She
No, she didn't.
I'm just kidding. No, I love mom and dad. They're probably listening right now. So hope things are well down in Georgia.
Oh yeah, she sent me a message. Was like, "Man, I appreciate being able to see everything, being able to." So we appreciate them watching in and stuff. So, again, thanks to Christy for letting us bombard her spot each and every week. So tomorrow night, McKenzie comes to West Carroll. Thursday night, special game. Hometown Grocery Deli pregame show at 6:30. Kickoff at 7. So that'll do it for this. Thanks to Hunter Reynolds, our senior spotlight player. Thank you, Jared. And so on behalf of Coach Morris, Jared Mims, I'm Jonathan Gown, and we'll talk to you tomorrow night on the War Eagle Radio Network. Tonight's broadcast on the War Eagle Radio Network is brought to you under exclusive radio rights granted by West Carroll High School to the Tennessee Internet Broadcasting Company, solely for the private non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, or the use of the descriptions and accounts of this event without the express written consent of the Tennessee Internet Broadcasting Company and West Carroll High School is prohibited.